Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon. As promised, I'm back here with you to share two really great concepts. And I want you to consider this as a follow up to yesterday's show on Flashpoint TV, where we highlighted Joseph Campbell, The Hero's Journey, Following Your Bliss. And there was a piece in there where he talked about connecting with nature. So I wanted to do a little follow up on this and really talk about what it means to follow your bliss and the power of reconnecting with nature. And are the two connected? Are they in fact connected? So what I want to do to really kick this off, because I got to share this with you. And by the way, I got a noisy chair here, and I will tell you, got a little bit of nature in the background here with the trees that hopefully the next 30 days are going to be bustling with life. But the balcony that I'm sitting on is my it's an upstairs balcony. It was loaded with snow just a few weeks ago. Literally loaded with snow. I'm wondering, where's all that water going to go? But sure enough, the drainage worked. And here I am out here expecting 60-degree temperatures here. So I thought, let me do this from the balcony and let's share. So what I want to share with you first is this is a book. It was a gift by Michelle. Michelle gave me this gift. I've read, studied Eckhart Tolle, many hours of studying his work, and he's the author of The Power of Now. And this is a little book, a very tiny book called Stillness Speaks. It's almost like a follow-up to his work. So the reason why I'm sharing this with you is because yesterday's theme, a sub-theme of yesterday's show, was the connection with nature. Last night, as I get in bed and before I go to sleep, I read, as I often do, and I'm reading this book, and sure enough, I opened up, and what's the theme? Well, the theme was nature. And I thought, wow, isn't this interesting? So it's just validating the point. So I wanted to come back and just read a few lines from this, a page, depending on how it resonates with you. And let me say hello. Hopefully you're out there enjoying the weather already. But let me just get into this. I'll start to read this book. And this is chapter 7 of this book. I'm just going to read a little bit out of it. Let's see where it takes us to highlight the impact of nature. And then I'm going to come back in and talk about following your bliss, and does that connect, and does nature connect? Can we connect these things? Okay, here we go. We depend on nature not only for our physical survival, we also need nature to show us the way home, the way out of the prison of our own minds. We got lost in the doing, the thinking, the remembering, the anticipating, lost in a maze of complexity and a world full of problems. We have forgotten what rocks, plants, and animals still know. We have forgotten how to be still, to be ourselves, to be where life is in the here and the now. Whenever you bring your attention to anything natural, anything that has come into existence without human intervention, you step out of the prison of the conceptualized thinking and to some extent participate in the state of connectedness with being, in which every natural still exists. You're listening to me. You've lived today up to this point. You've had thoughts, you've had emotions. And most of us, and I'm going to tie in another theme here, most of us are unaware and we just react, thinking, stimulus, react. And then we're like a human doing. We're not a human being. And that's why these concepts are ultra simple. They're unbelievably profound. And so I'm going to continue to expand on this, because let me draw in a Joseph Campbell comment, pulling from ancient wisdom about what it means to follow your bliss. What does that mean? It's can we learn how to be? Simply be. Can we expand our consciousness, our awareness? I talked this morning about acuity, sensory acuity, but beyond sensory acuity, feeling acuity, instinctual acuity, innate acuity, and then rapture. Rapture is the third thing. So a state of beingness, consciousness, and rapture. And what is rapture? It's not the rapture that you're going to be taken up into the skies. It's more of the rapture of feeling intense pleasure or joy. Intense pleasure or joy. Unfortunately, we as a collective human species are wired from our sympathetic nervous system to operate in fight or flight, even when fight or flight is not necessary. And we put unbelievable amounts of pressure on ourselves, and we don't realize that the escape out of that is the here and the now. It's the witnessing the wind blowing through the trees, a squirrel, a bird. And why is that matter? Because the moment we can dial into what's happening right now is the escape out of the incessant thinking based on precognitions, pre-programming, pre-expectation or expectations or should have beens, could have beens, would have beens. We can only become liberated in the here and the now. Your liberation is right here. It's right now. It's not in some ideal future moment. And Michelle, it's so great that you're here because this is the book you gave me. This is your gift. And the book it ties right into the show yesterday and the work on Joseph Campbell. So I'm going to keep reading from this book. And we're talking about stillness. We're talking about connecting to nature. I drew in the theme that Joseph Campbell talks about when feeling, or what is it? Living your bliss. It's escaping me. These quote, follow your bliss. There you go. Follow your bliss. To bring attention to a stone, a tree, or an animal does not mean to think about it, but simply to perceive it, to hold it in your awareness. Something of its essence then transmits itself to you. You can sense how still it is, and in doing so, the same stillness arises within you. You sense how deeply it rests in being, completely at one with what it is and where it is. In realizing this, you too come to a place of rest deep within yourself. You want the book? You can have the book back. Actually, it would be it's a short read too, but I love this book really. The Power of Now is like a longer read, and there's a lot of context, but this is just a lot of content inside of this short book. Let me keep going. When walking or resting in nature, honor that realm by being there fully. Be still. Look. Listen. See how every animal and every plant is completely itself. Unlike humans, they have not split themselves in two. They do not live through mental images of themselves. So they do not need to be concerned with trying to protect and enhance those images. The deer is itself. The daffodil is itself. All things in nature are not only one with themselves, but also one with the totality. They haven't removed themselves from the fabric of the whole by claiming a separate existence, me and the rest of the universe. The contemplation of nature can free you of that me, the great troublemaker. Bring awareness to the many subtle sounds of nature, the rustling of the leaves in the wind, raindrops falling, the humming of an insect, which we're free from right now, the first bird song at dawn. Give yourself completely to the act of listening. Beyond the sounds, there is something greater, a sacredness that cannot be understood through thought. And this is what Joseph Campbell was talking about yesterday during the Flashpoint TV show. And by the way, let me pause. I'm considering doing a breakout room. If you want to have a chat right now after this video is done where we talk, I would love to have you come in. Just type out the word chat. Type out the word chat if you want to jump into a breakout room right after this, and we can talk about more about your breakthrough may come through stillness, and that's what it's talking about here. And we're not talking about throwing out the man-made world, but I think you'll agree the world runs hyper focused on logic. Is there enough room of art, nature? Do we make enough room for that in our lives? Do we balance out the energies? Do we step away from the thinking so we can just be? Do we return to the thinking from the state of being refreshed? We're going to keep going, and then we're going to wrap this up. Type in the word chat if you'd like to jump into a breakout room. Let me read two more things here. You didn't create your body, nor are you able to control the body's functions. Well, you may say, well, yes, I can, but eventually you can't, right? Okay. An intelligence greater than the human mind is at work. It is the same intelligence that sustains all of nature. You cannot get any closer to that intelligence than by being aware of your own inner energy field. By feeling the aliveness, the animating presence within the body. And it's there right now, by the way. Regardless of how your day is gone, it's in you right now. The playfulness and joy of a dog is unconditional love and readiness to celebrate life at any moment, often contrasts sharply with the inner state of the dog's owner, depressed, anxious, burdened by problems, lost in thought, not present in the only place and time there is, the here and the now. One wonders, living with this person, how does the dog remain so sane and joyous? Oh, I think I'm going to stop on that note. Oh my gosh. But isn't it true? We get a dog for a lot of reasons. And meanwhile, a lot of people that suffer with depression and anxiety. That's the chair. That's the chair making the noise, by the way. So we're chatting here about following your bliss. What does that look like? And I would pose that nature, and even if you're not a nature lover, by the way, because if you're not a nature lover, you might observe a beautiful flower. This doesn't mean you're like me where you're out hiking all the time. But here's what let me go back and tie these themes together. Can nature be the door for us to learn to follow our bliss? So let's look at it. Following your bliss, three things: a state of being. Can I allow myself to be with this very moment? Am I conscious? Am I able to expand my awareness and my perception of the truth of what is right now? Not next week, not a perceived, what is right now? Can I open up to rapture? Rapture. And rapture is, again, a feeling of intense pleasure or joy. So if you think about it, nature, it can be the key for those three things. Because when we observe something in nature, the wind blowing through the trees, a flower swaying, a squirrel, a bird that happens to sing when we walk through, we're being in that moment. We're expanding our conscious awareness. And dare I say, if we can be in that moment, we will experience a moment of joy. And I propose that is a small sliver of the gate of a key that can open us to open up to us living in a state where we're following our bliss. This isn't a promise of sunshine and rainbows all the time, but it's an opening up to a better state of living and being. That your body is wired to heal. It's wired to feel better. Let's just put it this way. It moves toward healing. Your body moves toward, wants to move toward healing, wants to move toward joy. But it's that contrast of life. It's the push and pull. There's the other side, the thinking about how things should be, how life should line up, how all my expectations are not being met. But the here and the now is going, no, we're here and we're now, and everything you want can open up for you right now. Because that's the gateway. So if you would like to chat, and by the way, I'm on StreamYard here. I feel like, this is a great platform because I can reach. I'm on YouTube, I'm on my personal page, on my public page. But here's what I want to do. If you want to chat more about this, I want you to type in the word chat, because I want to do a breakout room. And if you're somebody who is, here's what I've been saying this. If you're painfully aware that you want to change, if you have a nagging discontent that you want something different, or you're passionately on purpose and you want to live more from a state of bliss, you want to build your business from a state of bliss, or you want to follow your bliss, right? You want to follow something that's deeper, not hedonistic, forget the world, I'm just going to go enjoy myself kind of thing. Because I believe when you're truly following your bliss, it does either directly or indirectly involve serving other people. Does that make sense to you? Lean in and don't push away. If you want a breakout room, we're going to do it right now. We'll invite some friends. We'll have a party. So I'm going to say goodbye for now. Let me know if this, whether you're live or on the playback, let me know if this had an impact on you. This is some deep stuff. It's the most profound things lie in the simple, and I've said that, I believe that the most profound lessons sit right there in the simple. And I'll close the way I started, at least a theme in the beginning. This balcony that I'm sitting on was loaded with snow a few weeks ago. I mean, up on my screen, I'm thinking, is water going to come in? And then in a few weeks, now I'm sitting out here, it's going to be 60 degrees. And that is just a reminder that nothing stays the same. Everything is dynamic and constantly changing. Nothing stays the same. And it's like the song, how can I be sure in a world that's constantly changing, right? You've ever heard that song? And that there's the question of the human thinking. How can I be sure in a world that's constantly changing? Well, you know what? I'm sitting on the balcony. The earth is spinning. Everything is subject to change right here in this moment. But how can I be sure? How can I be sure the balcony is going to hold me? How can I be sure that gravity is going to keep me down? The truth is, we're never completely sure, right? But somehow we trust, and we can take that trust into other facets of our life. Let me know if this served you. Have a great day, everyone. If you want to jump in the private breakout room, type in the word chat right now. Final call. I'm going to be doing these little breakout rooms. I'm going to try it anyway. And if people respond, we'll do these like huddles, right? They're like, you ever hear the football huddle or the powwow, where we have a chat, we come in, we talk, give you some positive juice, some perspective to take on with you the rest of the day. All right, everyone. Served you. Thank you very much. Bye for now.